So back again, got the gray walls behind me. Sorry, but the lighting is a little bit better. And I thought I'd make a video about a couple books I inherited. I didn't get anything really when my dad died at all. Didn't get a thing when my mom died either. So the two things that I do have, I cherish. So these are both from my dad's side of the family. So when my grand died, it was tough. I had just graduated college. I was working and actually on break. And I talked to her on my dad's death date anniversary. And she had said, Anna Marie, don't be too sweet or God will take you home like he did your father. Your father was sweet. And I said, no, Gran, you're the one that's sweet. God will take you, not me. And a few hours later, she was gone. So, I appreciate that God in his mercy allowed me to be able to say goodbye in a sense to my Gran, because I didn't get that chance with my dad. Definitely didn't get it with my mom because my mom died in a car wreck. And so it was nice to actually talk to my Gran on that day because it gave me peace. So when I flew out to her funeral, the nice thing about it, I did get this picture of my dad that was in her kitchen that I always loved and looked at and wanted like forever. And so my dad went to private Catholic high school. My Gran was a diehard Catholic. She was not Scotch-Irish. She was not Scotch-Irish. She was Scottish and Irish and Norwegian. So very different than Scotch-Irish. So she was Scottish, she was Irish and Norwegian. And so when I was little and we'd go over and visit, the adults would always go into the kitchen to hang out. And so they would all sit around the table and the little couch. And the little couch, the window behind it would always have the blinds open so you could see out into the backyard and look at her citrus trees and the beautiful sparkling blue swimming pool. And they would be in the kitchen drinking their coffee, eating their food, and just all talking and being very, Scottish and Irish. And my granddad would be there smoking his cigarettes and drinking his coffee, and Swiss and also Scottish and Irish, and he would just sit there, just chilled. So drinking his coffee and smoking his cigarettes. And so my little Gran, she would be cooking away and smoking, and I was always in the living room, and whatever was on the TV, which could be Doctor Who, could be a classic Abbott and Costello monster movie, could be a classic Godzilla movie, could be a classic 1930s horror mystery movie. It was whatever was on the TV that they decided they wanted to watch, and they left it on, and then I come over and I'm stuck watching that. So to this day, I love all of that. So Doctor Who, classic monster movies, Abbott Costello, it all means the world to me. I love watching all that stuff. And I wouldn't sit on their leather couch. I would just like sit on the floor and put my Barbies or my strawberry shortcake dolls on top of the couch and just play and look at the TV and the big huge. My granddad was total cowboy. They used to have horses on their ranch when they lived in Indiana, and which is where my granddad's whole entire family are from before coming from Switzerland. So very much a cowboy, like the real deal. Like he rode horses, he had a ranch, and my Gran, tiny little thing, she rode horses with him. My dad rode horses, the whole family did. And so that's how they grew up. And so he had these horns, these cow horns or whatever, over on top of the fireplace. And I always would look up at those big huge horns and then look down at the big TV that they had in the living room and just play with my dolls. But so during her funeral, I asked if I could have the picture of my daddy because I didn't have any pictures of him. And horrible thing, so when he died, I had one picture of him that was me and him together when I was in the 7th grade. And that was the only picture I had of him that was recent, and with me and him together. And so I had that in my wallet, in my purse, as well as a little card that was a wallet size card that he had given me that was the Footprints poem. So the Footprints poem talks about the 2 sets of footprints of God walking beside you, and then when you see just the 1 set of footprints is because he's carrying you, because you can't walk on your own. And so I had that and I cherished it. And my first week at that 5A horrible public school that was all upper class, all upper class, I mean, not upper class, all upper middle class. Like, they had money. Most of those kids had money. And by the way, my training from working in retail was you did not watch poor kids for stealing. You watched the kids that were well dressed. So didn't matter the race, if it was white or black or Mexican, if they were well dressed and had a nice purse, those are the ones you watched, especially if they came in with a big purse. So those are the ones you watched because they stole the most. They liked the high they got from it. They didn't need the stuff, they just liked the thrill of stealing. Whereas the poor kids would like try on stuff just because they wanted to know what it would look like, and then they would all leave all the clothes in the dressing room and you'd have to put it all away. So but yeah, so yeah, I'm at this 5A school and I'm stressed out. I had just been bussed out there and in culture shock with my thick Michigan accent and used to the type of foods that my family cooked, not used to Texas food at all. And in fact, it made me sick a lot. So I went to the bathroom and I had put my purse on the bathroom stall little hanger. And I came out, washed my hands, and I remember thinking in my head, which Enneagram type 5, I think, and I'm in my head way too much. But I also didn't eat lunch that day because, again, the food in Texas is so greasy and it's just so different from how I was raised to eat. It made me sick. And so I didn't eat and I was spacey, having hypoglycemia. I left my purse on the stall. And I realized when I was at the locker that I left the purse in there. I went back in the bathroom, not even a minute at my locker, didn't even have a chance to open it, went to the bathroom, the purse was gone. I was devastated. I was devastated. It was my only picture of my dad and the last thing he gave me, which was that little card of the Footprints in the Sand poem. And I ran to the principal's office and I asked them to make an announcement. Of course they wouldn't. And I asked if it could be an announcement for the morning. And they said, okay. And I said, please ask them to return my purse or at least return the pictures that were in it. I asked all the janitors if they would look in the trash cans for me for a purse. And it was never returned. Never returned. I checked daily and I kept asking them to make announcements, and of course they wouldn't. They did the first time I asked them, and then after that they refused. So I came home and I told my foster parent, about what had happened. I said, I can't believe it. My purse was stolen and my only picture of me with my daddy. And she turned around really quickly with anger and started berating me. She said, how fucking stupid are you? It's your fault you left that fucking purse of yours in the bathroom stall. If you weren't so fucking stupid, that wouldn't have happened. It's your fault. And because you did that and you're stupid, you're going to learn the hard way that things have consequences here in Texas. You're not in Michigan anymore. You're in Texas. So I got extra chores and I got grounded, and everything I had that was a privilege, like watching TV for 30 minutes, having 1 minute, one phone call that was 10 minutes and you're observed, all of that was taken away. So I was sent to my room and more chores and grounded for a solid week because of losing my purse. and having it stolen, or leaving my purse in the bathroom and having it stolen. So, yeah, that was my first week in Texas. So, what a nice welcome, right? All the crap I went through as a kid in Detroit and out west, and you would think that that would have been a harder life, but actually moving to Texas was worse. I was like, what is wrong with these Texans that they steal, at a 5A school, at a big school where they all have money and I have nothing, and they stole my purse. So, but yeah, so when I went to my grand's funeral, my uncle was there, my Uncle Larry. He was a combat veteran. He served in the Vietnam War. He's a war hero. And my dad's other older siblings served. My uncle served in the Korean War and was also a combat vet. And then my aunt, his older sister, also combat vet, served in Korean War as well. She did something with translation and stuff, and she's not allowed to talk about it. And my uncle, though, so he was the last kid to be able to serve, and so he served in Vietnam. My dad was too young, and so was his little sister. So they didn't serve in war like the older siblings did. But seeing my uncle, he looks more like my dad than anybody in the family. And he was sitting there, and he was just ravaged from AIDS. And no, he didn't get it from being gay. He was a nurse and got a needle prick, and so I used to be phobic of needles for the longest time because of that. But he and his partner were there, and they were sitting on the very couch that they used to sit on when I was little, and they would all be in the kitchen visiting while my gran was cooking, and I was in the living room watching Doctor Who or monster movies. Playing with my strawberry shortcake or my Barbie dolls. And so he was sitting on that very couch, and he just said, Anna Marie, you are so beautiful. And hearing that from him, it sounded exactly the way my dad would say it, and with the same love, like the pure love, as if I was his daughter, just like my dad's daughter. And it broke me, because I had not heard that since my dad, and it was like, oh yeah, it was like a trigger of a memory. Oh yeah, someone used to call me beautiful, unlike the foster parents that call me ugly on a daily basis. Ugly and stupid every single day. So hearing that I was beautiful for my family member, and they also would say, you were so unusually bright, you were always super smart and unusually bright, is what they would say. And not, and he said he wasn't surprised I went to college and stuff. And so that was nice. I love him. But can you imagine, though, when he was a kid, he gave this as a gift to my gran. My gran was like this little tiny 4'11" Scottish, Irish, Norwegian lady, 4'11", maybe 70 pounds wet, with her fire red hair that was gorgeous, and her hazel eyes, and die-hard Catholic. And so he, being a little kid in the 50s, bought this for my gran and gave this to her as a present. I thought that was so cute. I'm like, wow, this is not something that I would think to do for somebody as a kid, as a teenager or whatever in the 50s. But he wrote here, presented to mother, and then he wrote her actual name. And then he wrote his actual name, and then parentheses, son. It's just, my family are so formal. It's just so funny. They're so formal and polite. It's just both sides of my family like that. So manners is really important with how I was raised, and opposite of like how Texas is. And so like when I was working at this one job in Dallas a couple years ago, I had a lady say, you're very sweet and you're very polite, and both things are seen as a weakness. And I was like, okay, you have a lovely day as well. So yeah, she said it to me, and told me that was a weakness. And it just amazes me. And their whole, they think I'm rude because I'm direct. Well, sugarcoating something is still very rude. So saying bless your heart is still saying same thing as saying you're a fucking retard. So same implication. It doesn't matter whether you want to say bless your heart or you're a fucking retard. It's the same implication. You're still putting someone down. So whatever. But my family are polite. And they raised me to be that way. So I am polite and I am very sweet because that's just my personality. And that's how God made me. But I've always been that way. And so my uncle got this from my gran, and I love this. This is from this book. It's a prayer book for Catholic people. And the copyright date is from 1954. I don't know if you can see that because, you know, everything's backwards on the thing. So yeah, he gave this to my gran, and so it's neat that it has all these little Catholic prayers in it. And there's this little card. It looks like it's from, I guess, I don't know if that's, it looks like a picture that could be from, I don't know if this is from the 50s, 60s, or 70s, but that. So that's an old card. And the back of it says Corona of Mercy. And we're in the Corona thing right now. So that's interesting. And you open it up and it's a little prayer book. See? My gran and her little stuff that's in here. And then there's this other one. This is very 60s looking. Look at the coloring of that. You could tell that was like probably early 60s because of the oranges and stuff. Ugh, I hate orange. But orange and brown is so nasty. And then the 70s with their nasty green and yellow and brown. Ugh. They think it's earthy tones, but it's really just hippie, ugly stuff, you know. Ugh. But the Good Shepherd and prayer for those living alone. Huh. What are you trying to tell me, Gran? So, and then there's another thing she stuck in here. It's about my older cousin. Everybody, all my cousins are older than me. Me and my little brother are both accidents. So we're the runts of the family. And so this cousin, though, is closer to my half-brother's age. My half-brother is 10 years older than me. And so this, my gran and my granddad for a while took care of my dad's little sister's baby. So that's her. So my aunt got pregnant out of wedlock. And so my grandparents raised her. And so they had her baptized literally 3 days after she was born. So she was born, and then 3 days later, she was born on October 13th and then baptized on the 16th. So I can't imagine, you know, being baptized literally 3 days after birth. But instead of 7 days, I mean, I would think 7 days would be better. But it says baptized Roman Catholic Church. My gran made sure to write all that detail. Baptized Roman Catholic Church. And then who the reverend was and all this cursive stuff. And I guess this is where my cousin was born, at the hospital in Indiana. So on my dad's side, my granddad, they're all from Indiana. I think I already said that. Sorry, my prior video I made, the thing stopped and had problems. So if I'm repeating myself, that's why. It's because I'm like, did I already say that in this video or was that in the other video? But my granddad was like a for real cowboy. Like he rode horses and had a ranch and for real in Indiana. So all his side, all the people on his side of the family, if you see someone with that surname, chances are probably related. But now I've never been to Indiana actually, but all of them are from there prior to coming from Switzerland. And then my gran is from Michigan, and Illinois are her people, so Illinois, Michigan, and my mom's family, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. So quite a, I mean, at least she does have some Midwestern people. You know, and she was Midwestern. She just said some words really strangely, like lawyer. She'd say liar. And I never understood that. I'm like, yeah, lawyers lie, but why do you say liar instead of lawyer? So I didn't understand her pronunciations and stuff because my accent and how I was taught to speak. I mean, I went to Michigan public schools and stuff, and so all my vowels are from growing up in Michigan as a kid before us moving. But anyway, then I did Ancestry.com because, like I said, I got nothing when my parents died. And so having this book given to me when I went to my grand's funeral and getting the picture of my daddy meant the world to me. And knowing this came from my uncle that told me that I was beautiful. He didn't give this to me, actually, my cousin did. So that was nice. And it was the cousin that is the same age as my older sister. They were both created during the summer of '69. And so I love singing that Bryan Adams song to my sister to tease her, and she hates it. But I get my giggles, so that's all that matters. But anyway, they were created during the summer of '69. And thankfully, my dad did have her in Michigan. And she wasn't born in California like she probably should have been, because that's where my parents met. But anyway, so my dad's side of the family are all like mixture of Michigan and Indiana and all that stuff. And so with Ancestry.com, when I was in my early 30s, I was like really heavily into it. And yeah, they have my DNA. I don't care. I grew up a state kid. My fingerprints, all my information is with the state anyway. And I've had to have background checks by the federal government for my jobs, so I don't care. So, although I am a libertarian, that part I'm like, they already have it, you know. What am I going to do? So I might as well use it to my advantage and have fun. So the cool thing about doing that, though, other than going, okay, this confirms that the lines I found with these surnames that are this, this, and this, the DNA matches within me these people that I found that are my great-grandparents and so forth. So finding all that out was pretty interesting. So the downside of Ancestry is you get all these stupid, you know, hey, you've got more fourth and fifth, sixth cousins that are related to you. And you're like, great, 30 more people that I don't care about are related. Yay. You know, ooh, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh cousins. Yay. So you're getting all these people messaging you and going, oh, we're related, we're cousins. And I'm like, I look at their link and I'm like, come on, we're eighth possible cousin. You could be anybody, you know. I mean, this is stupid. But I got lucky because one person that really shouldn't have had an item that is a direct family member of mine had an item. And so when she saw me on Ancestry and we started messaging, she told me about this Bible that she had. And this actually belongs to my great-grandmother, my dad's grandma. So this was my dad's gran, and she had this, and she is not a grandchild. She is not anything that should be related to this person that had this Bible. So it's kind of strange, but I'm not surprised because I've been to funerals and I've seen how people act like vultures and just take everything. So it's not surprising that she inherited this Bible when she shouldn't have. She's not a direct relative. She is like a third or fourth cousin. So it's like, how the hell did you get this Bible? You're not even a direct grandchild or great-grandchild of this person. But I am. I am a great-grandchild to the owner of this Bible, the former owner of this Bible. So I got this and I was just so excited. And this was also created in the 1950s. So this was created not long after the book that my my uncle, this was created and my uncle bought it. I don't know when he got it, but it's not dated when he gave it to my gran as a gift, but the copyright date was, 1955. But this Bible was also created around the same time of 1955. And so you see all the, the type of coloring they did back in the day with the orange and yellow and green. Ugh. Yeah, the late 50s and 60s and the 70s coloring with trying to be earthy is, ugh, it's like disgusting. With the orange and green and yellow and brown, and then the hideous outfits and the way they danced back then. Just really, really, really super cringy. But, so yeah, this one is dated copyright 1955. And it's got all the coloring of obvious mid to late 50s. And a picture of Jesus. I'm like, what is going on with you, Jesus? What is going on with that face? You do not look Jewish. You look, he kind of looks German. He's got a German looking face, or Italian. He does not look Jewish. And Jesus was Jewish. I'm sorry. But when people depict him, in different ways, and I'm like, dude, do you know what a Jew looks like? I mean, I get made fun of and told I look like Sarah Jessica Parker all the time, which I'm over. I don't care. But for them to to draw him like that in the 1950s is kind of hysterical. But what made me cry, was there's a part in the middle of the Bible that has my great grandma's handwriting in cursive, and her handwriting is very similar to my grand's. And listed is my gran, because I was her daughter, and then my grand's children, which included my dad. And so seeing my dad's name here, and where he was from, Detroit, Michigan, where he was born, just seeing his name and seeing this made me go, I had a family at one time. I wasn't always this foster kid that had nothing and nobody, what the society calls throwaway. Yeah, that's a nice term to hear when you're a foster kid. Throwaway. You're a throwaway. But seeing this and seeing my dad's name written, I was just like, this is for real. I had an actual family. Because remember, I lost everything when he died. Everything. So it's like as if my entire life was erased. Like as if, those people that witness a crime and they're like in that witness protection program, and they start over, but they're given a house and a new identity and new stuff, and they're allowed to keep some stuff. They just can't contact their family. But that's how I felt. But only I didn't get a house and a car or stuff. I just got nothing. And just my whole life, my identity, my culture, just erased. Like it didn't exist, and forced into changing with how I talk. Like they would correct me all the time. They didn't like how I said, certain things. And so they would correct me and go, you mean blah, blah, blah. And I would just look at them. Sometimes I would stand up for myself, and I would say, no, it's pronounced this way. Which I learned not to do, because you get extra chores that way and grounded. But, yeah, I learned to keep quiet. Just think in my head. But it broke me getting this. I got this 2 years ago, and I just broke down crying when I saw my dad's name written in cursive by my great grandmother, who was my dad's gran, and going, this is proof that I had family. This is proof that I had an existence that wasn't erased completely. This is proof, and so it really was amazing getting it, you know, and it may be something insignificant to anybody else, but I feel like God wanted me to have it. And I feel like my grand that's up there with my dad, I feel like she was like, you make sure that Anna Marie gets that Bible, you know, you make sure that my granddaughter gets this Bible from my mother. And I got it. It's just the timing of getting it 2 years ago after all this time, you know, kind of odd, but I still, you know, it just shows you that God's timing is sometimes so timey-wimey. Doctor Who, you know, you think that something is a day and it could be 20 years later, you know. So that's why you shouldn't give up on prayer, because what you think in your timeline is different than God's timeline is so different. And so sometimes he's instantaneous. Like I've had doors go boom and shut really fast. And then other times it kind of like you're in this pending stage. Like when you look at your bank account and you see a charge pending. That's what I feel like is with my prayers sometimes. I'm like, okay, God is like pending my prayer request right there. And so anyway, my dog's asleep, and I guess I'm gonna watch a movie, and my Mac is about to die because I don't have it powered. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you don't take for granted anything that you've inherited. And if you have anything for your children to inherit, or haven't created something for them to inherit, start now. So if you've been on a drinking bender and depressed or in drugs, go get help, find God, get off all that shit, put your life in order, and put your children as a priority, and give them something that's tangible to remember you by, that will always be something memorable, that means something. And so not just old books, but something that they can have. Like my collectibles, I love them, but a lot of them I keep packaged, and I keep the packaging if I can, because unless I get it from like secondhand, like I often buy from eBay, but so some of them don't have the original packaging because I bought off eBay. But anyway, I try to keep, if I get something that has its original packaging with it, I keep it in its package, because, and what I have that's out and not packaged, I keep it well preserved. And I've already told my son, you can do whatever you want when I die. This is all yours. You can sell my stuff, you can give it away, you can keep it. It's all yours to do what you want. And I will try to get a job with a hefty insurance policy. So that you can afford to bury me, and bury me in a decent burial, and but also have money to survive on after I'm gone. Because again, if you don't have something to leave for your child, that's just selfish. So I can't afford a house to leave him, and he understands that, but I do wish I did have a house. And I'm working on getting my credit fixed actually now. So I'm making my payments on time for my new used car, my used car, my 2016 Toyota Corolla. And I paid off a debt that was on my credit report that I noticed that was $266 today. So I paid that off. So I'm chipping away at it. I'm going to restore my credit. It was in the 800s back in December. My goal is to get back at that level, and have something tangible to offer a guy other than, you know, whatever, other than just good sex, you know, and a good, you know, conversation. I want to be able to say, hey, I work hard and my credit's pretty good. We can be a team and have each other's back and get a decent place. And if he kicks it before I do, if he has kids and they already have stuff, well, I'll have to pray about it. But in my opinion, if we get a house together, if his kids already have stuff, my kid doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything. I'm it for his family. So I would leave my stuff to him. So whatever I have, it would be left to him. So Of course I would have that conversation with that guy, and hopefully he'd get to know my son and see that my son has nothing and grew up with a foster parent raising him, and that's it. Or not foster parent. I'm not his foster parent. I grew up in foster care. Anyway, but I raised him as a single parent, and I'm all he has because I have no family. And so he didn't have grandparents and Christmases like the way most kids experience that, and birthdays. He just had me, and I would either make him a cake or buy a cake, or I'd take him out to like Rainforest Cafe for him to have the lava cake and have a really good time and stuff like that, and try to spoil him the best I could during his birthdays and Christmas the best I could, and show him as much love and attention as I could, best I could, you know, not perfect, but did the best I could with as much love and attention as I could between working full time and going to grad school full time. But anyway, yeah, so my goal is to fix my credit and have something tangible so I can buy a house, and so either that house will be mine, unless I meet a guy and we get a house together. I mean, who knows? God's a miracle maker. Maybe I will meet a guy, but right now I'm not like, I'm praying about it. Like, I'm like, all right, God, this stupid single app crap isn't working for me, and I give up on it. So you're gonna have to just like figure it out and get me a guy, because I'm terrible at it. I suck at it. I hate the whole thing. So he's gonna have to help me, because I can't do it. I don't know how to find a guy, and I hate dating apps. I hate the whole rituals of dating. It all sucks. I just want to get to the point where you're like chilling out in bed watching something, or having a good conversation like at 3 o'clock in the morning, or having sex at like random times at like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I want it to be at that level, and I'm just like, can we just Star Trek it and get to that level instead of me having to do all the work of finding a decent guy and dealing with all these shitheads that are either super ugly, super creepy, super pervy, you know, personality that does not jive with mine. They're a loser, deadbeat, that aren't working, and, you know, there's just, my age, the guys my age just suck, you know, for some reason. It's tough. So I definitely need God's help. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess that's all I gotta say. So sorry I rambled almost 40 minutes. Thanks for watching.